What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the Saiffers BPat podcast. Today we're going to be going over the WTA Berlin matchups for day 2 as well as the Birmingham matchups for day 2. We had a failed attempt at a recording for day 1 of the matches. Had some technical issues, but I think we've got everything sorted out now. This is actually our introduction to clay season. We talked about it in our failed recording, but that obviously wasn't posted, so we'll be going over a few things today. Really exciting stuff. Day 1 was kind of it was just okay, not too crazy, nothing too special. But my name is BPat. Saif is gonna take over for me now. How you doing today, sir? You can kick us off, get us right into the matchups, or if there's anything you want to say, get it started.
Yeah, so yesterday I started off. First of all, hello, BPat. Glad to be here. Yesterday when we tried to do Monday's podcast on Sunday, I believe. I got all my days mixed up. Anyways, I gave you a big shout out. I don't know if I can do it today because it's not a surprise and it won't be as genuine as the first one. But I just wanted to give you props for your fantastic 2 weeks at the
Thank
French Open.
you, thank you, sir.
Yes, bro. It was amazing stuff, and especially being your first Grand Slam, it was really impressive stuff. And you say like you're still learning, which I honestly don't believe, but I mean you're definitely you definitely got it, bro.
I think I'm
So
at a good
yeah,
point
hats off.
now. I haven't really said that in a while, but thank you. I appreciate it so much. I mean, it was super
Yeah,
exciting, like you said, first Grand Slam. And then we get Wimbledon in a couple weeks, so this is like an amazing time for me to jump into tennis. But yeah, thank you, man.
yes, bro. Yeah, absolutely, man. Um, thank you. You still say or make some outrageous bets. But, but I mean, I guess
But
we
they
all do.
hit, but they
I
hit.
guess we all. No, of course, of course. I'm just being salty, I guess. If I fade you on one of those. But anyway, let's get into it. So yeah, grass season is upon us. I'd like to just talk a little bit about that. So obviously in 2020, due to COVID, there were zero grass tour level matches for both for the men and women. So a lot of these players haven't played tour level tennis since 2019. Last week during the second week of the French Open, there was WTA Nottingham, which Johanna Konta won, and there was ATP Stuttgart, which Cilic won. But this week there's two of each, two tournaments on each tour, and and then next week there's going to be two more as well for each tour before we get Wimbledon at the end of the month. Just to talk a little bit about who's hot and who's not on grass. I guess I don't want to say historically, but maybe in the past 5, 6,
Yeah,
7 years, something like that. Players like Kerber, obviously the Williams sisters, Muguruza, Kvitova especially, she won Wimbledon twice, and also players like Pliskova, who have really big serves. Yeah, so to talk a little bit about the surface, it definitely favors big, powerful serves, especially tall players who can, hit like really high point the ball and hit it like at I guess at its highest point from the ball toss and hit it flat. Flat shots are really good and effective on grass because the bounces are really like short and it's kind of hard to get there. Also, moving on grass is a lot more difficult, so you got to be not only athletic but actually quick so you can get there in time. Um, and it's kind of difficult to have your feet set, unlike on clay where you can sort of slide and hit a shot on the run. That's a lot different to do on grass, especially if you're not that strong or have a weak upper body. Um, but I don't want to get into it too much and be too technical about it. If you watch a couple games this week, you'll definitely see what's good and sort of feel the difference. In my opinion, it's a lot nicer to just look at the green grass, especially in England, is very beautiful and aesthetically pleasing, whereas that bright red orange clay can give you a headache sometimes.
yeah.
So yeah, that's it for me. Anything you would like to add about grass or the grass season?
Well, I guess what I mentioned in the failed attempt of a podcast we did the other day was that this is my first like real time following the grass season, like really in depth. I think when I was watching tennis a couple years ago. I was looking at a little bit of clay, a little bit of hard court. So this is something a little bit new to me. But I feel like I'll pick up on it pretty quick. I'm excited to see what kind of players flourish and what kind of players kind of regress. So it's going to be an exciting time. I'm excited that we have, like you said, 4 tournaments now, 4 tournaments, or maybe 2 tournaments following this, and then Wimbledon right after. So, I mean, there's a ton of great tennis to watch. Now's the time for me to really watch and try to gain as much knowledge on these types of courts and these types of players in a time like this. So I'm super excited. First day was decent. I mean, pretty solid. So I'm ready to really dive in and see where this takes me.
Absolutely, bro. And this year, not only that players didn't play last year. If you look at some of the top performers at Wimbledon, at least for the chicas, a lot of them have regressed significantly, or are injured, or are in poor form at the moment. So obviously, Serena and Kerber, not really injured, but just kind of have fallen off significantly in the last 2-3 years.
Yeah.
And then you have Muguruza and Kvitova, who were amazing earlier in the year, but now have seen a dip in form, and also been dealing with injuries. So it's interesting to see how they're gonna, if they're gonna be ready or not to perform at a high level at Wimbledon. And same for Halep as well. She's in the same boat as them too. But all right. Let's get into it. WTA Berlin, round 1, day 2. All right, I'm gonna start with Veronika Kudermetova versus Karolina Muchova. Now this is a banger. This is an absolute banger of a first round. Both of these chicks, last time we saw them, really disappointing losses. I mean, it was on clay. Obviously, it was in the French Open. Kudermetova lost to, was it Siniakova? After being 5-1 up in the third set, she lost 7-5.
Sheesh.
Yep.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Anyway, yes, bro. Yes. And Muchova probably put in her worst performance of the season, and really got embarrassed by Sloane Stephens.
It looks like she won the second set. Kudermetova won the second set. It was the third set. She was up 5-1. I don't know if I misheard you or something, but
No. I said that in the third set, and the
oh,
decider,
okay.
she
I'm
was
sorry.
up 5-1, and then
I thought you said
lost,
second. 5-7. Yeah, that's crazy.
Disgusting stuff. Anyways, my lean here would be Kudermetova, and here is why. I actually watched a little bit of Muchova today. In a doubles match, she was playing with her fellow countrywoman and another Karolina Pliskova versus Azarenka and Sabalenka. That was actually a really good match, not just because it was entertaining, but just to see how all 4 of these girls are playing on the grass and kind of moving around, and whether they're finding their shots or not. And out of the 4 girls, I'm gonna be totally honest. Muchova and Sabalenka were probably the worst ones. Azarenka was the most impressive player on the court by far. Her and Sabalenka ended up winning in straights, but Azarenka carried that duo, and Muchova definitely kind of held back the Czech duo. But I don't want to talk too much about that match. I just think Kudermetova recently has been playing really, really well, and Muchova, just the inconsistency and the slow starts. I don't think that'll be good enough. And I feel like I like both of these girls, honestly, and I think the price is fair. But I'm leaning towards Kudermetova just because she's more consistent and can sort of punish you if you start slow or if you're not at your best.
Yeah.
So
Kudermetova.
that's what I'm saying.
So for me, like this jumps out to me as like a match I want to watch, but it's instantly like a fade for me. I feel like these girls are on similar levels. Both of them not very impressive at in the French Open. Muchova lost to Sloane Stephens in straights, which Sloane Stephens was on a little bit of a heater, I won't lie. But either way, that's still very like unimpressive. Kudermetova, you explained it. She lost after being up 5-1 in the decider against Siniakova. If I had to lean aside, I would go Kudermetova, but it's such a light lean that I think I'll probably end up just fading this one. I feel like these types of matchups, I don't really feel like I have a good read on them. I mean, Kudermetova at plus 110 is pretty solid. considering the lines opened up, and I think she was a slight favorite, like minus 115 or something like that. But yeah, I just feel like there's not really something that I can get a good grasp on, and that really makes me want to play this match. So more of a fade, but if I had to, I like what you're doing. Kudermetova money line.
Yeah, I definitely think the value's there, and I just got a feeling that Mukova won't be entirely comfortable or have the best of starts, and
Yeah.
Kudermetova can definitely take advantage of that, and she is very adaptable and can sort of um, switch it up, make sure um, she can definitely do the things that will help her get ahead, is what I'm trying to say.
Yep.
So yeah, I like that. Moving on. Um, okay, here's another banger, low key. Marketa Vondrousova versus Ludmila Samsonova. Um, this is gonna be kind of crazy, but I lean Samsonova here. She's similarly priced as Kudermetova, I think, plus 120 or something like that.
Plus 105.
Plus 105. Okay, so she's actually Kudermetova's a bigger dog than her. But yeah, I think the Samsonova line against Vondrousova kind of tells you something. Samsonova played an amazing match to qualify for this against Anna Konya, which I thankfully was on, and I got to watch that game, and she looked pretty impressive. I thought it'd be a lot easier for her against Konya, who would sort of struggle, but Konya was playing pretty well herself, and Samsonova definitely gave her a hell of a game. Konya, honestly, in all honesty, I'd say she's on the same sort of level as Vondrousova, all things considered. Vondrousova is has better movement. She's a lot quicker, but also has a lot less power. Even if she has a big serve, her ground strokes are kind of weak, and I don't know how Vondrousova will fare on the grass, especially against a very powerful and fit player like Samsonova, who's already played a game on grass and can look to wear Vondrousova down if she's not entirely ready for this, or if she doesn't know what she's getting into. Another short dog. I like Samsonova here.
All right. For me, I hate to start off with two fades, but I really do lean towards fading this match, because personally I would want to lean Vondrousova, but her grass history is pretty garbage. She's 4-8 in her career on grass. She's having a much better year than last year, but I think she's been playing better competition, and she's been showing up here and there. Samsonova though is definitely kind of on the rise a little bit, and I mean, like you said, beating Konya, 6-1ing her in the second set, and it could have been a little bit more distant in the third, but if Konya was on top of her game, then I mean, you're gonna struggle there. And she beat Konya previously in the prior tournament as well, so I mean, she has the ability to put away players of Vondrousova's level. She's definitely the better grass court player from what I can see record-wise. I mean, that's not a lot to go off of, especially considering it's been a few years since Vondrousova has played on grass, and Samsonova has only played 2 matches this year. So I think I'm going to end up fading this one. I just don't see enough for me to back Vondrousova, who I'd want to back as far as like being the better player in my opinion. So I'm just going to stay away from this one.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Yeah, Samsonova is a really tough player to sort of face on your first game back because she's so fit and she's really punishing. She's honestly she's kind of jacked too, and she's definitely one of the fittest players on tour, along with the likes of Rus and Zachary. I'd definitely say she's up there. So yeah. I mean, even if this goes to 3 sets, Samsonova definitely has the advantage, in my opinion. All right. Moving on. A game I don't really want to spend too much time on, Jessica Pegula versus Haley Baptiste. Are you cool to skip that?
I just want to throw down that I'll be rocking with Pegula for this matchup.
Okay.
I got -3.5 at -115. I think she's just the better player here, at like high and above Baptiste. I mean, Baptiste just played her first 2 matches ever on grass courts, and she had 2 straight set wins, but against players who were nowhere near the level of Pegula. And what I see from Pegula is that when she wins the first set, she more frequently will win the second set as well, and I think she'll run away with this one. I think she'll be looking to kind of make up for her loss, her quick outing in the French Open, and her lack of play kind of in these last few tournaments. So I expect her to kind of get the job done fairly easily.
Yeah, I like that too. When I saw that matchup at first glance, especially after seeing that Pagula was only minus 3.5, I did kind of like it. Um, and then I saw the over under, and I was like, oh, I kind of like that too. I mean, 20.5 is a, I guess, a normal total, but when I thought about it, I kind of liked it too. But altogether, man, having sort of glanced at this matchup, this will be a fade for me.
Yeah,
But
fair.
yeah, I do like the Pagula lean. But I also think, even though it sort of contradicts that, I do kind of like the over for some reason. But we'll see. Interesting. Baptiste, played a good game against Sonia Kenin, 6-4, 6-4.
7-5,
Just,
6-3.
slow. Really?
Yeah, 7-5, 6-3.
Okay. I don't know who was 6-4, 6-4. Maybe it was Tauson Azarenka on the same day. Anyways, um, yeah, yo, but no, she was low key pretty impressive against Sonia Kenin. She's really big, really strong. It's just the poor decisions. Um, but yeah. Let's move on.
For sure.
Best of luck to you with your Pagula. I may tail. All right. Speaking of Azarenka, Andrea Petkovic versus Vika Azarenka. Now, I'm kind of surprised to see Azarenka as a minus 5.5 fave, but it do kind of make sense. And like I said earlier, when you talked about Mukova Kudermetova, Azarenka was the best player on the court in the doubles match between her, Sabalenka, Mukova, and Pliskova. She really she really played really well. She served really well. She played really well at the net. She was aggressive. She like did was really good on defense, and I think that's sort of the experience, she has over the other players
Yeah.
that I just mentioned. But Petkovic is also a pretty experienced player, but nothing special on clay. She was or on grass. Sorry, she was a hell of a clay quarter a couple years back. Um, these chicks are 2-2 against one another. So with all that being said, I am kind of surprised at the minus 5.5. I think it's too much, too big of a number for Azarenka, even though I would have liked to take Azarenka. 5.5 is kind of scary, but I would lean that way. Not sure if I'm gonna play it, but you know,
What,
out of all
the
the lines,
plus
that is
5.5
definitely
or?
the only. No, Azarenka's
Oh,
minus five and
okay,
a
okay,
half.
okay, okay, okay.
That would be my play here. Not sure if I'd do it because that's a big number to be honest.
Yeah,
In all
100%.
honesty.
I'm on the same page as you. Like, that's a big number considering Pekovic has been, I mean, pretty bad to be honest. But I mean, she's hung around in her last couple matchups. Her last 3 matches have gone to 3 sets. Prior to that, though, she's lost a lot of matches in straights by quite a big number of games. Um, so I mean, it's really a toss up. It's like 5.5 games is a lot, and unless you're dead set confident on that player, it's hard to take a line like that. And I think I'll probably end up fading this one. There's some other things that I like going on later in the day. So I mean, I'll consider it. If I were to take it, I'd be tailing you. So we'll see what happens. We'll see. Not sold on it.
Yeah, it's a little tricky. I mean, I feel like she'll cover it in the end. Um, but it always kind of worries me when the books kind of give us a big favorite. It's just scary.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would definitely be the move there. All right, moving on. Another game that doesn't excite me at all, even though I do sort of have a good lean here, and I think you might be surprised. Petra Martic versus Asia Muhammad. Um,
I wonder if I have the same lean. Is it on the over under?
it is on the over under.
It's over. I like the
So
over.
you like the over? Wow, I like the under, man. And
Oh,
here's why.
wow. Okay.
Yes, bro. I was gonna take Petra Martic minus 5.
Wow.
Um, but under 20 just looks good. Asia Muhammad, I feel like her name pops up a lot of the time, but I never expect to see her at a WTA main draw. Maybe a main draw doubles or something like that. But as a singles player in the main draw, in a tournament like this as well, she really doesn't belong. Um, but that doesn't really mean much. Petra Martic is good, not great, but I feel like just her experience versus just her overall quality will sort of overwhelm a player like Asia. Um, so yeah,
Hmm.
I like Petra Martic -5 or the under. But I'm really interested to see why you like the over.
Sheesh, I might have to switch up. I mean, so maybe this is a little bit of like a recency bias. I was actually bet on Muhammad against I think it was Juvan. It was the third set. Yeah, it was the third set for him to win by 2 games or to win by 1.5. And I got it at plus 300. I almost got it at plus 600. So I mean, maybe her doing me right then was what had me thinking this way. But a lot of a lot of her recent matches have been pretty close. I mean, now that I'm looking at it, not against any opponents worth noting. Actually, a lot of poor opponents. And you're making me think about it because the more I think about Martic's game, she's got from what I've seen, from the matches that I watched, especially her against like Pagula and Podoroska in Rome. She's got those little tricky finesse shots down, and I mean, this is the type of court where that's gonna really benefit your game. So, man, I may retract my overplay, and tail you on the -5 or the under as well.
Yeah, bro. You know what? Definitely did sound like recency bias. Now I know her win against Kaya Juvan is pretty impressive. Um, and I mean Kaya Juvan even gives some top players like Martic some trouble, as we've seen, in her few main draw appearances. But this is a whole new ball game in my opinion for
Yeah.
Mohammed. I think she'll be super happy to have qualified for this. And I know it's not even like a big tournament or anything like that. Um, no, I feel like Martic will just be too much for her. And I feel like Martic will always try to start off good, and especially at the start of the grass season. So
Yeah.
yeah, I
I
don't know though. I would hate for this to go over, and you're like,
and
wow,
I'm on
wow,
the under,
safe.
falling and tailing you.
But I don't know. I do not love this play, but I mean, in my opinion, that is definitely what I would like to be on.
Okay.
The under, for sure, just because it's an extra game over the -5. Um, so like a 6-4, 6-3 would be cool. Um,
Yeah, for sure.
so, 7-5 territory will get kind of scary, but I don't know, man. I don't overly love it. But these are just my thoughts. I'd be really surprised if Asia makes this a game, to be honest.
All right. Yeah, I might end up just fading or tailing you, but I'm scared now. So let's move on.
All right, here's a really interesting one. Angie Kerber versus Misaki Doi. Sorry, one sec.
You're good. I'll jump in while you're doing your thing. So from looking at this matchup, looking at the previous matchups, Kerber is 5-0 against Doi, with 3 of those being in straights and by a ton of games. Their most previous matchup was actually at Wimbledon on grass courts in 2016, and Kerber won 6-3, 6-1. Now, that's with a few different. I mean, Kerber, like you mentioned at the beginning of the episode, is a very good clay court player, and she's had some very impressive runs at Wimbledon. So I think she has a huge advantage here. Doi is coming off a win, a 7-6, 7-5 win against Barthel, and then a 3-set with 2 tiebreaks against Friedsam. So, I mean, I think Kerber definitely has the edge here, but Kerber, as of late, hasn't really been all that impressive. I would definitely lean Kerber -4.5, but this is kind of a smaller lean just because I kind of want to see where Kerber's game is at before I really hop on the train. But I'll definitely consider it. I mean, -4.5 isn't all too bad, especially against a player like Doi who isn't very impressive. Prior to this tournament, she's lost 5 straight, and she's posted a negative record on hard court, clay court, and then her overall's negative as well. And she's never really been that great of a grass court player. Her last positive record was actually in 2016. So it's been quite some time since she's had any type of success on on grass courts. I was gonna say clay courts. So yeah, that would be my lean. Kerber -4.5.
All right, here's what I find really interesting about this match, and You kind of mentioned it, and I just want to sort of highlight it and clarify it. Misaki Doi played qualifying for Berlin. She beat two of Germany's. After Kerber and Petkovic, she beat the number three and number four German players. Maybe Siegman too.
But
But
they're
anyway,
not
she
all
beat
that
two of the
impressive.
top five.
I think you take
I
home
mean,
advantage
yeah,
very much into consideration, but I think it's a smaller factor in the sport, unless it's like a top player.
I just thought it was cool. I mean, Doi sucked on clay, and the last couple times we saw her. Um, but I think to pull up to Berlin, um, and beat those two chicks in qualies the way she did, which were really thorough and impressive wins. I mean, 7-6, 7-5. Like, um, looks like it was a really close game against Barthel. And I tuned into her game against Friedsam, and she was very clutch and played really well. And she plays another German, but it's a whole different beast, obviously. Angie Kerber, who's really good on grass, playing in Berlin, which I guess for a girl of her caliber, it may mean more than Friedsam and Barthel.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, yo, call me crazy. I do like the over here. I like over 20 and a half. I think Kerber will cover, but I think Doi wins the set, and and then Kerber crushes her at least one set to get you your cover. But I do see three sets here, or if not, I think it'll be close. So yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Doesn't look like Doi is gonna go down easy, in all honesty.
mine's kind of a small lean to be completely honest. So, I mean, I'm not sold on Kerber. Like I said, I just want to see where her game's at on grass before I really like hop on the train. But this will be an interesting one for sure. Definitely worth a watch or a peek.
Yeah, definitely. And Misaki Doi is funny as fuck. I brought this up before, and then I decided to tail her, and that's when she started sort of shitting the bed in the warm up tournaments before the French Open. But anyway, moving on. Elena Rybakina versus Shelby the Ogre Rogers. Um, I think when you first started getting into the swing of things with tennis betting, I think you thought Shelby Rogers was good. I mean,
No,
she
no,
was
no, no, no. I
playing
didn't
well
think
and
she
winning
was
some
good.
games. I think okay.
I thought she was
She
I.
sucks. She
Yeah,
sucks.
I know,
I'll
I
be
know.
honest. She's horrible. She is god awful. But she does lead the head to head 1-0 against Rybakina. It was in last year's U.S. Open 7-5, 6-1, which is honestly a good result for her. But on the grass, and considering both of these girls' recent play, um, I think Rybakina is now minus 190. She has definitely moved. I think she might have opened like minus 150 or minus 160 or something like that.
Yeah,
That is definitely the side to be on, in my opinion. I would consider Rybakina in parlays, and I think her minus three is worth a look. I think um, I really like her to win, and I think if she wins, she will more than likely cover that number.
yeah, I agree.
For minus 120, a flat three is pretty good. And I think her 2-0 is honestly worth
Oh,
a sprinkle.
I wanted to be the first one to say that.
Really?
Yeah, I was like itching, hoping that you wouldn't say it so I could say it, and then you'd be like, "Oh wow, I like
Ah,
that. I like that
I
idea."
sorry for
Shit.
being a party pooper, I
It's all
guess, but
good, but it's good to hear that you're
um,
you're liking that too.
no, I do, and at plus money as well. I think it's definitely a good one in my opinion. Rebecca in a 2-0. I think it'll be sweat free, honestly. I don't think she'll trail. I don't see Rogers, breaking her or threatening her service games. To be honest, Rebecca has been serving pretty well, and she's tall as fuck and can definitely put some power on her serve. So we'll see what's good, but either way, definitely like Rebecca to win, cover minus three, and probably do it in two as
Yeah,
well.
I completely agree with you. I mean, not a lot to go off of here as far as like past grass records. I like to keep it in account though. Rebecca is 7-2 on grass courts. She's only played 1 year on grass courts actually, and that was actually back in is it 2019, I believe. But Rogers has never been impressive on grass. 11-17 all time. Never posted a positive year. And she's just not the better player here. Rebecca is definitely like far and above her in quality. Well, maybe not far and above, but she definitely has the ability to put her away and fairly quickly too. So I mean, -3, it's a pretty small line considering. And like you said, the plus money 2-0 is like I'm having hard eyes for it. I mean, it's plus 120 right now. I think I would maybe consider like 2 units on the -3 and then 1 unit on the 2-0 or something like that. And then they both cash and I'll be just laughing, crying, I'll be going nuts. But I think it's definitely doable. I like it -120 for the -3 as you said. Definitely solid play there. And then parlay piece as well. That's a good idea. -90 or 190. Throw that on with old Sabalenka or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. Man, I can't stress how poor Sabalenka looked today, honestly.
We'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Yeah. That's the day after. But yeah, Rebecca, no. I like her to sort of be a dark horse in this tournament. Form wise, I definitely think she has a chance. She's like fully fit. She's playing well. Um, yeah, I definitely think she'll be playing with confidence. After her quarter final run in the French Open. So
Yeah,
yeah, let's see.
for sure.
All right. So last game for Berlin on the board tomorrow. Garbini Muguruza versus Sorana Cirstea. I think this is another interesting game that I will not be betting. Because Muguruza is still a bit of a question mark regarding her fitness and her form, and her ability to play her brand of tennis that we honestly haven't seen in I don't know how long now.
Yeah.
First round exit to Kostyuk. I mean, Kostyuk was playing great, but that was a complete no-show. And then, excuse me, and then in Rome against Svitolina and Pera, that was just, well, so yeah, and Cirstea, she's been playing really well, but then like you feel like when she plays a good opponent, she sort of disappears. Um, like Krejcikova in the final of Strasbourg, and against Zidansek, she totally disappeared in the French Open.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really see much value. To be honest, the over might be a good play, but I'm just not gonna fuck with it.
That's what I
I'm
was
not
gonna
gonna
say.
fuck with it. Yeah.
I mean, it's fair to not fuck with it based off of Muguruza being a question mark, like you said. The over was definitely like a little bit of a lean for me, very, very small, just based off of the fact that Muguruza, if she shows up, she could easily just run this. I mean, they've played 3 times before head to head. It's been quite some time since they played twice in 2017, once in 2018, but Muguruza won in straights in every single matchup, and there was only one time where Cirstea brought it within 2 games. Every other one was by 3 games or more. So, I mean, yeah, the over, I was thinking about it just because of the question mark with Muguruza, but at the same time, Cirstea, when she loses the first set, she tends to just crumble. You told me about the Zironchek match. I wasn't able to watch it, but you said after she lost the set point, I guess, in the first set, she just turned into a completely different player. Looking at a majority of her losses this year, only 1 out of her 8 losses have gone to 3 sets. So, I mean, I think that says something about the type of like player that she is. She just doesn't really stick around when she goes down a set. She just, I'm assuming she gets emotional or something like that, and it gets in the way, it blinds her game, and yeah, fade for me as well. But very, very, very small lean on the over. Just something I'd feel confident in, or not confident in, but I'd feel cool if it were to hit, even if I didn't play it.
Yeah, big game for both players, honestly, and it'll be sort of interesting to see how both of these chicks fare
Yeah.
tomorrow against one another. Honestly, it should be even considering form versus quality. Obviously, Cirstea having the form and the being fit, and then Muguruza the opposite. She's in poor form and poor fitness, but she definitely has the quality advantage. So. It's a pass for sure, but
Yeah.
definitely will be an interesting one.
Fade it, fade it, fade it.
All right, bet. All right, so on we go to Northern England, WTA Birmingham. First game on the board is Elise Mertens versus Ayla Tomjanovic, which was postponed from today, Monday, to the Tuesday. Um, I don't really want to cover it too much, but I know you have a play on it. So why don't
Uh,
you get
it's somewhat of a play. It's just the fact that I have Mertens money line sitting currently in a parlay to cash 2 units, and I feel pretty confident in it. I mean, Tomjanovic isn't really all that. She like you said the other day, she just looks pretty. Just doesn't really not quite the player that. And you said that Mertens plays better against girls who look better than her. So, I mean, I'm pretty
No, no,
confident.
no. It's not just she doesn't only play better against girls who look better than her. She just doesn't lose to them.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
She's beaten a lot of pretty girls, from what I can remember. Every time I watch Elise Mertens play, she's always beaten a girl who looks nice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm pretty confident that this money line will cash for me. I don't want to touch the spread or the over under, especially since I already have 2 units on the match. It's basically Mertens money line 2 units for minus 102 for the odds. So I'll take it all day. But yeah, I'm not gonna play it in any other way.
All right, bet. Next up is Shui Zhang versus Dietchenko. Um, Honestly, yo, Zhang and Nottingham. So the previous week, she had a very, very good tournament.
Yeah.
I think Diaz in straight wins was really impressive. And then Mladenovic in three with a tiebreak in the decider, and then Lauren Davis in straights as well, who was having a pretty decent tournament in the semifinal. Zhang beat her 6-4, 6-3. But then in the final, Konta sort of rolled her 6-2, 6-1. But it was impressive stuff, and honestly, from what I watched, from what I saw, I watched the Davis game and the Mladenovic game. Her Mladenovic win was really impressive. She's sort of like Su Wei Shea, no power whatsoever, just very good defense and a lot of slices and a lot of change-ups, I guess, like you call them in baseball, off-tempo shots and things like that. Um, It'll be interesting to follow her. She's -4, uh, laying -4 games against Diet Coke. I'm not gonna bet this, but I'll be interested to see if that was a fluke or if Zhang can actually sort of back her
Yeah.
performance last weekend in Nottingham with
I'm in the
another one
same
here in
boat.
Birmingham.
I'm in the exact same boat. Fade for me. If she had put together a more impressive final against Conta, I think I would probably lean her here, but the line would probably favor her a little more. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Diet Coke, I've never even heard of her. She seems to be like a lower tier player that I guess is moving up, and I guess making it to
She's
bigger
pretty old
tournaments now.
too.
Oh,
Yeah,
30.
she
Okay.
was like in and out. She was like in and out.
Somebody new
She's
to
more
me.
out than in these days. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's definitely not amongst the usual tour level players for
Yeah.
sure.
So these last 2 qualifying matches for her were her first 2 wins of the year. And they were like, she didn't really play anybody overly impressive. 2 people that I've actually never heard of. The number 196 ranked player in the world and the 291 ranked player in the world. So, I mean, I think Zhang will more than likely cover here, but I don't have enough confidence in her to do that, considering her track record prior to this tournament, or prior to Nottingham. So, yeah, I'm probably going to back off of this one. But, yeah, I think Zhang definitely has a little bit of value there for sure, especially with the way she handled some of her opponents in Nottingham.
Yeah, I agree. Um, we'll be looking at this game, interested to see how Zhang fares.
Yeah.
But moving on, Layla, the quirky bitch, Annie Fernandez versus Wang. I'm more than happy to skip this
Yeah,
game.
skip it, please. I'm not touching this.
Yes, thank you. Okay, mini banger, Kat McNally versus Uns Jabeur. So McNally absolutely crushed Nara. I think it was in qualies, or maybe it was
Oh,
it
I'm
was
pulling it
qualies,
up right
right?
now. I'm checking right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6-3, 6-0.
Yeah, she crushed Nara in qualies, and Nara took Mladenovic to 3 sets. from what I can remember, in Nottingham last week, and I watched a bit of that game as well because I just love tuning into Mladenovic's matches because she's a sexy little thing, and I enjoy watching her game. It's unfortunate she's not a good player, but anyway, Nara played a hell of a match against Mladenovic, and I was really surprised to then see McNally beat her 6-3, 6-love, and McNally looks like she played a really, really good game there. Um, I'm trying to see the stats. I was looking at the stats. I can't find them now. But she had a very healthy ratio of winners to unforced errors.
I'll pull it up.
And if it's any, um, all right, yeah, please. And if it's anything like how if she plays anything like how she played against Nara, and hits a ton of winners, you can always count on Uns Jabeur for unforced errors, and as long as you hit more winners than unforced errors against Uns, I honestly think you have a chance. With that being said, I like McNally plus 4.5 games. That number's a little juicy right now, minus 125. It may move to four. I definitely do like it though. Maybe for a unit or so, but I definitely think there's value there. 4.5 games is a lot. And Ons really isn't in fine form whatsoever. And I think McNally has enough power to match her, and also a little variation that Ons likes to hit you with. McNally can definitely deal with that.
That's interesting because okay, so I got it pulled up. McNally, she had 18 winners. I don't see anywhere where her unforced errors were, but she had 18 winners. For me, looking at this matchup, I see that McNally has like been pretty impressive in her wins on grass, and then she went to 3 sets with Mladenovic. Mladenovic is now my over queen. We'll get to that in a little bit, but I think Jabeur is just a much better player here. I think I like the minus 4.5. It's a small lean. Definitely had that in parentheses next to it. Very small lean. But I think Jabeur should be able to handle her pretty well. I mean, McNally, aside from like her putting together some pretty impressive wins, she hasn't played anybody, and she's yet to really do anything all that impressive. So I don't know. I lean Jabeur here, but at the end of the day, I'm more than likely will end up fading. There is a little bit of value on Jabeur 2-0 if you are somebody who would be backing Jabeur. I know you would probably not like that, but I think that's definitely on the table as well. So I would say Jabeur minus 4.5 and or 2-0.
Okay, interesting. Um, yeah, I think it'll be tough. I mean, McNally has played one, two, three, four, 5 games already on the grass. Won 4 of them. Even though all of those wins were qualies. And she lost her one main draw match in 3 sets to Mladenovic, like you said. Um, but yeah, I mean, she's definitely like in the swing of things. I think her 6-3, 6-love versus Nara is very telling. I mean, Nara's a decent player, honestly, good defense, and a lot of power. To be honest, she's got a similar build to McNally, like a big frame and really powerful as well. So 6-3, 6-love is honestly a super impressive score line. I mean, um, yeah, I definitely think she'll make some noise against Jabeur, but I could totally be wrong. Jabeur's first game, who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking back at Jabeur's track record on grass. She has a pretty good record, 42-16. But looking back, obviously, it's a different player back then. But she wasn't really 2-0ing very often. It was a lot of 3 sets. But I think she's really having herself a year in terms of like I haven't seen her in the past, but I think she's having a pretty solid year. I mean, when she's getting these wins, she's winning by quite a bit. So I think she's just a better player here. I may end up fading it, but those would be my leans. My very slight leans. Small.
All right, let's move on to a matchup that we've all been anticipating for a couple days now. Marta Kostyuk versus Madison Brengle. Madison Brengle, by the way, is not only really bad, but she also has a really bad attitude. And I think Kostyuk minus 4 is an absolute gift, and her money line minus 265 now, definitely going up a little bit. But that is also a pretty good value if you want to put it in a parlay. My favorite bet on this match, Well, first of all, I want to say anything Kostyuk in this match, I think is a good bet. Definitely the way to go. But Kostyuk 2-0 at -115 has to be the best play in this match for that value as well. Kostyuk to not drop a set against Brengel, I think is a good one. In all honesty, she's in fantastic form. I follow her on Instagram, and she's training, sweating her ass off every damn day. She's slimmed down a lot. I think she's taking her training very seriously, and um, yeah, I like her, man. I like her attitude. I like her power, her sort of her enthusiasm. She never really gets shook and doesn't fuck up much. In all honesty, she's always very locked in until from first point to last. And against Madison Brengel, oh come on, man. 2-0, I think is we're getting crazy value here.
Yeah, I agree. So I actually have Kostyuk in a parlay with Sabalenka tomorrow. Money line came out to -110. I feel like that's a steal, especially with the line that we're seeing for Sabalenka and Keys. I think that we'll see some movement there, but we'll talk about that in the next episode. But yeah, Kostyuk, like you said, taking her in any way in this match is a W. She's Madison Bringle is nothing to be impressed with. She's played one match on clay, or on, I keep saying clay because I'm so used to clay, but one match on grass, lost to Kozlova in 3 sets. And then her clay season was her best part of her year, but it really wasn't all that impressive. She was playing in smaller tournaments, made a couple finals, but not playing anybody near the level of Kostyuk. Kostyuk has been hanging around with really good players. I think there's also some value here on the under, sitting at 20.5. Looking at Kostyuk's last string of matches, I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Her last 10 matches have been in 2 sets. I don't expect her to lose in 2 sets, but the opponents she was losing to in those matches were high tier opponents who would absolutely dominate Bringle, like Swiatek, Alexandrova, even Kirstea. But yeah, I think 2-0 is solid. I might play that on top of the parlay that I have and a potential under as well. So I like it all. Maybe 2 units on the under, 1 unit on the 2-0. I like it.
Yeah, man, definitely good stuff. If you like the 2-0,
Shout out
if you
to
like the
Aggressive
under, I
European
think 2-0
Sports
is
Bets for the 2-0 call out, by the way.
yeah. I definitely put more units on the 2-0 than the under because it could go over, but still in straights.
True,
The
true.
only way your under wouldn't win if the 2-0 doesn't as
Yeah,
well
that's very
is
true.
if
And
Brengel keeps it under, which I don't think will happen.
yeah,
So,
you're right. You're right. That's a good call. 2-0
yep,
is the
I'm
play there.
just trying to clear your mind, I guess. But yeah. All that shit -4 under. All good stuff and good calls.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to another game I like, low key banger, and this features a chick who I didn't even realize, but I love fading her. And she definitely a new addition to the list, especially if I cash my best bet against her. Daria Kasatkina versus Polona Hercog. I think you know what my play is here, right?
I honestly don't know. I feel like it's Kazatkina -4. I personally have no clue.
What?
I don't know, bro. I don't know.
Okay. So I'm taking Herzog +4. Um, I see Herzog pulling off this upset. She's almost +200 on the money line, +195. But +4 is a lot of games, man, for someone who I think is gonna win this match. Herzog played really well in the French Open. Honestly, even though she didn't get that far, she had some very impressive performances against Caro Garcia, who sucks, but also Kiki Bertens in the first round. A pretty big win against the top 15 player, even though she's washed. Kiki Bertens is a hell of a clay court player historically. But yeah, I like what I saw. I mean, on against Vondrousova in the third round, she did shit the bed, but Herzog seems to be um, trying. And I don't know. I definitely liked what I saw from her. Her game, her approach to the game, her shot selection was good. Nothing really bothered me about her game. I think she's low key underrated, and +4 is a lot of games against a bum like Daria Kasatkina, who I think is so obvious that she is only good on hard court. Um, she's a hell of a hard court player, both outdoor and indoor. Um, but on the clay, on the grass, like on the natural surfaces, I don't think she's like that. Herzog is a way more athletic than her, much quicker, much faster, and honestly has the same power as her. Only advantage Kasatkina has is probably the serve and just the general IQ, and probably better decision making. But apart from that, man, yeah, what's good with +4, man? I like Herzog +4.
That's fair. Yeah. I mean, I have fade written down here with a potential like baby lean on the over. Definitely not something I'll be playing, but I considered it. 20.5 is the spread, so or not the spread, the over under. So yeah, but I just couldn't really pick a side here. Nothing really stood out to me, similar to some of the matches we talked about prior. So I'm gonna stay away from this one more than likely. But I get where you're coming from, especially with Herzog as that big of a dog. I feel like it should be closer to a pick 'em.
Yeah, no, definitely. That would be very much expected. Um, yeah, kind of silly. I think they're definitely sleeping on Herzog. Um, but yeah, yo, I'm seeing some line movement on this McNally match. Yep,
I
McNally is
saw.
now +4, no longer +4.5. She's +4, -105, and her money line dropped 10 cents. So I was definitely onto that, and I actually did call it. Yeah, I'm not surprised there. I guess
Gives
I'll
me
be
a better
taking
line for
McNally
Jabor.
+4. Oh yeah, big bet.
I'm not sold on it yet, so let's relax.
You're gonna need +4 if you're taking Jabor, bro. I'm telling you.
Psych. That's
She,
that's cap. That's cap.
she's gonna lose. Anyways, moving on. All right. Here's another interesting one. Lauren Davis against Yelena Ostapenko. Ostapenko just makes me laugh, man. Everything about her makes me laugh. I can't really take her serious. But she's capable of some big performances. Definitely on clay. Um, uh, I'd say her win definitely remains to be the biggest surprise in French Open history, in my opinion. Even more than Krejcikova's, might I say. But anyway, so Lauren Davis, like we mentioned earlier, did play in Nottingham, made the semifinals, and put together some decent wins. None of them were overly convincing. Two of them were in 3 sets, but she came from behind in both matches. Harriet Dart, she lost the first one 6-1, and then Davis won 6-3, 6-4 against Allison Risk over 2 days due to the curfew. Lost the tiebreak first set, and then it went 6-4, 6-4. Actually didn't get broken once that match, which was pretty impressive. Katie Bolter took the first set in a tiebreak, but then had to retire. So Davis went through and then got kind of embarrassed by Zhang. But the promising thing here about Davis is that she had multiple competitive matches on the surface and on the grass in Nottingham. Even though her results weren't overly impressive, she did play some good tennis, and she won 3 games essentially. Um, Ostapenko, man, I feel like she's a slow starter, and will get frustrated. She has such a poor attitude. Is always bitching, and whereas Davis is pretty chill and just gets on with her tennis. I like the over here, not for a lot, but I definitely do want to play it over 20.5, probably for a unit. Um, I think that's a solid bet, in all honesty.
All right. So I actually I lean a little bit towards Ostapenko -4. Another little baby lean, something that I'm not really sold on. But I think she's just the better player. I think Lauren Davis really isn't that good. To be honest, I mean the over is definitely solid because there is potential for at least one of the sets to get near a tiebreaker. Or like you said, I mean she's holding her service games well, so I mean that's impressive. So um, it'll be very interesting to say the least. I think at the end of the day, I lean Ostapenko. And just to say, she did get broken by Risk once, I think. Oh, no, wait, no, she didn't. Wow, you're right. That's impressive. The only 2 breaks that entire
Yeah,
match.
bro.
That's crazy. But yeah, I lean Ostapenko a little bit. -4.
Okay, fair enough. Lauren Davis isn't a good player, but what I like about her is that she's very consistent. And even though she doesn't have a high ceiling, unlike Ostapenko, of course, who we know has a very high ceiling and can, if she's on her day, she can play at a very, very high level. Davis never has that level. Like you will never see it. As I said, low ceiling, but she plays very close to it. And she's consistent, which I'd like to see. And that might honestly be enough. If she maintains her, her Lauren Davis sort of like 6 out of 10 level against Ostapenko, um, might be enough for the over, honestly. We don't need her to cover no numbers. But if she snags a set, I think that might do it. Or if she keeps it close, that'll be cool too. So
Yeah, for sure.
yeah. All right. Moving on to this is what I meant when I told you Birmingham low key has better games than Berlin,
Nah,
and you weren't buying it. Um,
it doesn't.
Berlin has the bigger names, but I mean, especially early on, there are definitely better games on this
But
side, in my opinion.
wait for the bangers in Berlin. Just saying.
Yeah, true. I mean, both of these tournaments though will have decent, quarterfinals, semifinals, but obviously the bigger names will all be in Berlin. But
Uh huh.
anyway, Fiona Ferro versus Kristina Mladenovic, all French matchup. I would have loved if Mladenovic wasn't a dog, was a dog, so I could take her against Fiona Ferro. Um, but I sort of have this Mladenovic. I'm sort of infatuated with her these days. I don't know why. I think it might be her sexy blue dress on the green grass. But anyway, I do like her to win this match, but I honestly don't think there's much value on her minus 150. I wouldn't want to fuck with no total. I think Fiona Ferro was really, really bad, in all honesty. And yeah, I expect Mladenovic to win this game. Um, minus 150. Uh, I would rather play that than the -2 for minus 120, in all honesty, even though if it's a small spread. But I probably maybe will play one unit on Mladenovic.
All right. I was so I was leaning a little bit towards the over here. Both of these players see a lot of like high set matches. Mladenovic tends to, as of late, play down a little bit to poor competition. Um, Ferro isn't all that impressive, but she sticks around fairly often. In 4 of her last 5 losses, one of those was a retirement, but the other 4 were 3 sets against some decent players. I mean, you got Brady, Zing, who isn't all that, but she can be pretty decent at times. Zvonareva and Golubic, who are both pretty decent players. So I like the value on the over here. What scares me is that it's sitting at 21.5, but I think it's still somewhat viable. I also considered sprinkling on Mladenovic 2-1 at plus 340 for maybe like half a unit or something like that. Something fun that I think definitely has potential to hit.
Well, yeah, that's a decent shout. I was actually considering that. I don't really look at that market often, but I was considering it for a men's game. Which our friend aggressive European sport bets shouted out. Um, Dan Evans 2-1 against Popyrin. But this might be a good shout too, and so is the over. Mladenovic in 3 sets. But I don't know, man. Fiona Ferro might let you down there, honestly. Um, minus 150 isn't too bad. I mean, it's only juice if you lose, right? So I mean, we'll see. We'll see.
I don't think Ferro will let me down, just based off of her past performances and whatnot. I think she'll be able to hang around a little bit. She keeps her losses
I
very
don't think
close.
she knows how to play tennis, man.
She almost beat Brady. And don't say Brady doesn't know.
You know she doesn't know.
She's a top 25 player. Okay, all right, let's move on.
Yo, if she beat Osaka in that Australian Open final, that would have easily been the craziest, flukiest thing to ever happen in
It's not a
sports.
fluke. It's not a fluke.
No, it is. Of course it
No,
is.
it's
It's
not.
madness.
It's not. It's a
Oh
player
my
being on
god,
top of her game. What are you talking about? It's not a fluke.
bro. I know
You
you. I
can't
know you
say,
probably
"Hey, this
think.
player won a Grand Slam final because all 50 of their opponents that they played throughout the tournament, they gave it away." There's no fucking
Yeah,
way.
bro, and that's what makes it crazy because there is no way that you'd have meltdown after meltdown after meltdown. But I
No,
mean, that's what happens.
it's not
But
fluky,
listen,
bro.
if
It's the player that
I
the meltdown is looking at across the court that's winning the
that
matches.
that's a good argument, but I'm not sold, man. I
It's not a
mean, it probably is
meltdown.
no coincidence. And probably, I look, I brought this up too. I said it may not be a coincidence that all these players just so happen to have meltdowns against this player, but I don't know, man.
You're
Um,
tripping, bro.
I definitely try to weigh both sides of the coin
No, you
and
don't.
sort of
No,
play
you
devil's
don't.
advocate. Oh no, I do, bro. I
Doesn't
try.
seem like it.
I
Doesn't
try
seem
and be
like it.
reasonable. But no, man, I brought this up before on a previous podcast. You, if you think I trip out these days and say crazy shit or react poorly to my bets and how my bets perform, based on seeing me in the bearded betters Discord,
Yeah, we go at it a little
you
bit.
should have seen you. Okay, bro, that is nothing
I know.
compared to how I was feeling when Brady beat Mukova in the semifinal. Um, I almost did something really bad that I couldn't, take back if I had done it.
Oh gosh.
Mukova played the game of her life and beat Barty, and then lost to Brady, Jen Brady. I was like, no, 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 oh
You
no,
can't
no.
let it get to your heart, bro.
No, but I just couldn't believe my eyes, man. I just even just as sports, bro. Like what is that? Um, but anyway, we're not even talking about Brady here. Um,
One
no,
more
Fiona
matchup.
Farrow don't know how to play no tennis, and Brady also don't know how to play no tennis.
Fiona
But yeah,
Farah can definitely pull a set. Moving on.
all right, we'll see about that. Moving on. Low key banger as well, bro. You're sleeping on Birmingham, bro. There are much better matches in this side.
For the first round.
Um, all right, fair enough. All right, so we finally see Anastasia Potapova, who had a decent start to 2021, um, then sort of faded away with shoulder injuries. She couldn't serve. Honestly, Potapova does have a poor attitude, uh, especially for a young, promising star. Um, but she plays really good tennis. Very a lot of power, a lot of power. And I haven't seen her on grass. Obviously, she's like 19 years old. I don't know what her record is on grass,
Four and
but I
three.
feel like her game would be 3.
4 and 3. She didn't play in 2018. 2019 was 1 and 2, and then in 2017, 3 and 1.
Okay, well, in 2017 she was goddamn like 16 years old. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I feel like no, her game would be really good on grass. If she's fully fit, hopefully she'll serve well, and she does have a very powerful serve. Um, but she plays against Nina Stojanovic. I think this will low key be a banger. Stojanovic beat Vekic last week and beat Martinsova, who was also playing pretty well last week. Ended up losing to
Conta
was it
in
Konta?
one lost the first set 6-2, won a tiebreak in the second, and then lost 7-5.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, I remember that one. Yo, Stojanovic played really well. But I don't know, man. I feel like Potapova, hear me out, can pull off an upset here. I'm looking to fade people who did well last week, because I think they'll be overvalued a little bit. Like FAA reaching the final in Stuttgart. Definitely gonna fade him in the first round tomorrow. That's off topic. But I'm gonna do the same against Stojanovic. Made the semifinal last week. Yeah, definitely think there's some value on Potapova.
All right.
In all honesty, she's
I
yeah,
what Potapova money line?
yes sir. It's like plus 140.
Plus 115. I actually kind of like Stojanovic minus
Oh
two,
wow.
to be honest. I I don't agree with your theory of fading people who are hot as of late. I think that shows signs of promise for their game, especially that Stojanovic had a pretty awful clay season, and then jumps right into grass season and has 3 pretty impressive wins. Dodin, not so much. Vekic 6-3, 6-4, that's not too bad. Martinsova 6-2, 6-4, which is pretty impressive as well. And then kept it tight with Konta, who ended up winning the tournament. So I think she's definitely finding like a little bit of her game. And grass might be where she thrives this year. So I'm taking Stojanovic -2, or at least considering it. Potapova, I mean, in Paris got destroyed by Fernandez. In Rome got destroyed by Pera. Madrid destroyed by Mladenovic. It's just not pretty for her.
Not a clay player. It's okay.
Okay,
Not
but
a clay
looking back, the end of hardcourt season got bageled by Tomjanovic, got bageled by Krejcikova in the match before that. Just yeah, not I don't see enough to really back her here. Stojanovic -2.
All right, fair enough. I honestly can't. I can't argue against what you said. But the thing is, like, when it comes to fading people who did well last week, it's just like warm up tournament after warm up tournament, essentially for Wimbledon, and I feel like Stojanovic might be happy with her first go round, and not really be looking to make another run, or at least I assume so. Um, but yeah, who knows? Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
For sure.
Um, but I definitely feel like it'll be a big bounce back game for Potapova, who can match Stojanovic in every facet of the game, to be honest. So we'll see what's good.
Yeah, for sure. It'll be an interesting one. Tomorrow's actually going to be a great day. There's a lot of great tennis. We went over, I don't even know how many matchups. I think it was like 16 or something like that. But a lot of great tennis, a lot of good players coming out. As we see both of these tournaments progress, we're going to see a lot of really good matchups. Berlin has all the big names. But I mean, I agree with you. Birmingham definitely has some potential bangers, and even some bangers that we're going to see tomorrow. So I think I do think Berlin is a little bit thicker, but I mean, I like both of them. I'm interested to see how they both turn out.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, yeah, true. I mean, Garcia Buzkova tomorrow or the day after. Georgi Vekic is going to be a banger as well the day after. And then so far in Berlin for Wednesday, we got Svitolina, Alexandrova, Cornet, and Andrisko, and then our girl Sabalenka versus Keys.
And Sabalenka
So,
has actually moved down as a favorite from 265 to 245 from what I've seen.
yeah, that's mad.
For real.
That's madness.
Yeah. All right. Well, hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the podcast. Make sure to jump back in tomorrow's episode. We'll be going over the beginning, I guess, of round 2 for both of these tournaments. Make sure you guys, if you're enjoying the episodes, leave some comments. Come on, we don't really get many comments, so let us know what you think. Let us know ideas or anything like that you have for us. Yeah, as always, make sure you check out our Twitters. We post our picks there, as well as the Discord link in the description to the Bearded Betters Discord. Bunch of great people in there, run by the OG Corey Crone. So definitely check it out, guys. You got any closing things to say?
No, not really. I will be playing a lot of ATP as well because there's a shit ton of games there too. So definitely check out my Twitter if you're interested, or jump into the Discord like BPat said.
Without a doubt. All right, that's going to do it for us today. Hope you guys have a great one. Best of luck tomorrow or today, whatever time you're listening to this. And peace out.
See you guys. Fuck you, Coco.
Nah.
Oh, yeah.